Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, Utopian Reflections. My name is Tristan, and this video is about how to use your relationships to get into the flow state. If you don't know what flow is, in this context, I'm talking about a state of alignment, a state where your thought, emotions, and your actions are all aligned on one singularity where there is no doubt in your mind that you are doing the thing that ignites your heart, ignites your soul. And one of the greatest ways to see if you're aligned in your life is through the relationships that you hold. So, one framework in which I look at life is that everything is interconnected. Every aspect, from your work life, from your relationship to money, with family, with platonic and romantic partnerships, these all carry weight in several other aspects of our lives. And oftentimes, when we're so engrossed in our day by day, moment by moment life, we don't get to see the bigger picture, especially when we're dealing with relationships in which we're used to, like family or like friendships that last like a decade plus long. So, the way that I have used my relationships is understanding my emotions and my thoughts behind every interaction, every engagement that I have with a particular person or group of people. And I know for me, and probably you can agree, romantic partnerships, if you have been in one or many, are often very significant because of the amount of weight that these partnerships often carry. And I can personally attest that my romantic partnerships have often been the greatest teachers, in which they were pointing towards the direction of self love. Self love is the aligned state. You must love yourself to know yourself. And when you know yourself, you know what you want and you know how to direct your focus and attention towards those things. Even if you might go astray or you might feel like you're falling off, you know how to get yourself back on the path, so to speak. And it's can be difficult to do this when you don't have a stable foundation in which you can understand the trajectory of your life, where it's going, how you're feeling on a constant basis, what you're thinking on a constant basis. And the key indicator to having that foundation to understand what is going on in your life is presence. It is the state of being fully immersed in your present moment, whether it's prefer or unprefer, it doesn't matter because every moment is purposeful. Every moment can be used to your advantage for you to understand your mind and your heart better. And when you're present with the people that you care about, with the relationships that you hold dearly, well, you're immersing in the connection in a way that is 10 times more powerful, 100 times more powerful, because you're not going about it in a transactional way. So, one of the simplest examples is like whenever you're speaking to someone and you're like waiting for them to finish because you already have the thought on what to say in response to what they're talking about, right? Well, when you're in presence, you're just practicing active listening, where you're listening, but you're not carrying any particular thought with what they're saying. You're being more responsive. And this is only one example of how to engage with your relationships. But when you're trying to understand what your relationships are reflecting, because everything is a mirror under this framework, they will allow to show you the things that you do believe in terms of like what you constantly perceive and think about, the things that you do feel, And it's more easy to it's easier to figure this out when you're dealing with a relationship that is often troubling you, or there's problems or conflict in a particular relationship. So let's say that you're in a romantic partnership, and your partner doesn't want you to follow your goal of starting a business because it's too risky. But you know in your heart that this is the thing I want to do, this is my joy, this is what ignites me. Well, this situation is going to ask you to be evaluated, not so much on what the person, your partner, is doing, but how you're reacting and responding. Because if you're reacting to the situation, then you're not in control of the situation. But if you're able to step back and look at how this interaction is, then you can come to it through a responsive moment. This is why being present in your experience is so important, because when you're reactive, you're letting the mind take over. And the mind is important when you're working on tasks that requires logic, right? But you do not need to have the mind on for every interaction or every engagement that you're doing. For if you are just present in your experience, you're still going to know how to turn off a light switch. You're still going to know how to wash the dishes. You're still going to know how to speak. So this video is really more how to take yourself out of your mind and get into an immersive experience where you're just fully there 24/7. And this will allow you to be observant of what's going on within you, especially without you, the outside, the external. And this is what really allows you to use your experiences as a mirror to help show you the things that you're engaging with that aren't actually the things that you want to engage with, and realize, how can I make these changes? Like, what are the indicators that are holding me back? So it's no longer a brain game when it comes to conflict. It is more of like, thank you for this interaction because this is showing me where I stand. This is showing me what I actually want. And that is the power of being present in your experience. So I have use the skill of presence, which is a meditative state, right? So you're taking yourself out of the mental habit of thinking, of being in your logical mind with every engagement. And you're stepping more into a state of where you can feel, where things are more in tune. And it's just a reorientation of how you live life. So the easiest way to get into the state of presence is through meditation. So sitting down and focusing on your breath while observing your thoughts and observing the experiences within your body is one surefire way to start to entrain yourself into this. But the key after meditation is to bring it into your moment by moment experience. It's not that, oh, I meditated for 5 minutes, I'm good to go, and then you go back to the way that you normally operate. No, you're retraining yourself. Because we all have been in situations where we've been in unnecessary conflicts, where we see cyclical patterns with family, friends, partners, and we're wondering like what is going on. And sometimes we're the we're the indicator in which allows those cycles to begin. Sometimes you see a similar occurrence within partnerships, and like the person may be different from your previous partner, but yet there's something that is very similar in your engagement there, right? So if you can take a step back and look at the bigger picture and see what is being represented here, it allows you to dictate what you want to engage with, what you're not willing to engage with, and figuring out what is the most loving thing that I can do for myself, first and foremost, in regards to this connection. And the more that you continue to answer that question in every engagement that you have, you'll start to live in this flow. You'll start to recognize yourself and know yourself on such a deep and intrinsic level that you know what you want, you know who you are, and you know how to walk your life in the midst of that. So relationships is not an experience in which you're a victim of. Relationships are really a tool as well as a pivotal experience to help you recognize facets and aspects of yourself so that you can make a definite choice on what you want more of in your life. So, while this is a very simple explanation on how to enter flow, it does take a lot of dedication and commitment. This is your life after all, right? So being in the state of presence, being in this meditative state, this state of I am, and not identifying with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your experiences, and just observing them on a neutral level is what allows you to make clear choices. And the more that you acquaint yourself in this state, the better and easier it becomes to engage with so many things in your life. And this starts to just become your lifestyle. And this, from living from this place of presence every single second, every single day, every single year, is how you live in flow, because you're in tune with yourself. And when you're in tune with yourself, you're in tune with your other connections, your other partnerships, no matter what the context may be. So if this video helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, drop a question down in the comment. I'm really excited to start this channel and delve more into this subject with y'all. So please continue watching. I'm going to have another video on how negative relationships can impact your life and how to make them positive. So I'll see you there, and I'll see you in future videos. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.